Laura Mackey here, and this is my next installment of Expanding Horizons. Today I thought I'd show you how to replace a color. There are actually many ways of replacing a color in Photoshop. One of them is to use a color replacement tool, and that's where you would just brush on another color over the daisy. Or you can select the daisy and fill it with your fill tool with another color. Those are okay ways of doing it, but the reason I don't like those is that they are not non-destructive. In other words, once you paint on your image, that's kind of it, unless you are able to go back into your history panel in Photoshop and go back to the way it was. The problem with all that is that if you've made other changes that you like later on in your editing process, you have to undo all those changes and go back in your history and then recreate everything. The way I do it is by using a layer mask. That way, if you are making some other change later on and you decide, oh, I want to change that color, I don't like the color that I applied earlier, you can do that with just pretty much a click of the button. So let's get started and show you how I do it. My apologies first for this kind of lousy image. It's not the best, but I think it'll work for what we're doing today. So we're going to go up here to the top and up at the top menu and click Select and Color Range. Then I'm going to click somewhere, anywhere in the daisy. Usually try to get the most mid-range of the color that you want to change. In this case, I want to change the lavender. Let's just say the blue. So I'm going to click the mid-range lavender. Not the real dark part, not the real light part. Somewhere in the middle. I'm going to click that. And you'll see that it clicked some, but it didn't click all of it. The way you can increase that selection is by sliding your fuzziness bar up to the right. And you'll see that the selection then increases. So I'm going to say that that looks pretty good right there. You can go up further then. If you go further, there are other pixels that comprise of the lavender color. And while it wouldn't show pretty much if we increased it and used that selection, I'm going to go ahead and keep it right around the daisy only. And then I'm going to click OK. And you'll see it applied a mask, the marching ants. So now we're going to go down here to the right, at the bottom right, and I'm going to click a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to use the solid color adjustment layer. I'm going to select a blue color somewhere in here. Let's just say that color. And I'm going to click OK. And there you go. No, just kidding. It's not done yet. I know it looks terrible. Let me show you how to fix that. We're going to go ahead up to the layer blending modes up here where it says normal, which I'm not, but we're going to go ahead and click that. And you'll see down below there are some groups of layer adjustments. I like to use color for this particular application. So I'm going to select that, and you'll see that it then applied the color a lot better to that layer than what we had before. And how I like to view this is that it's sort of like a piece of tissue paper that you lay over something. You can sort of see through it and see the detail below, but you're giving it a color. So it's a two-step process, the color fill layer, and then you apply the color blending mode. And you can also change the opacity of this a little bit because sometimes it can look a little hard depending on the image. This had a lot of contrast, so it didn't, maybe apply the best. So I'm going to reduce the fill and the opacity just a little bit to make the color seem a little less harsh. And that's pretty much it and how you apply the color to the selection there. And what's so good about this is that let's say I want to change this color later. Let's just say I'm way down the line, I'm doing something else, and I say, oh, I wish that daisy were a different color. You can double click on this and change it to any color you want. You can go through and select any color, and it will change it magically just by the touch of a button. The one thing you have to keep in mind when you do this is that sometimes, because pixels contain all colors, unless they're black or white, you can get changes to the area behind the area that you really want to apply the color to. And that's because if you go over here to your mask, and if I click it once, then I hold the Alt key and click it again, you'll see what that selection really selected. When we made that selection with the fuzziness tool way back when, it was actually selecting some other things back there, which you can see, but we just couldn't see it with our eye in that particular thing, nor could we see it when we applied the color fill in this particular case. A lot of times that is not the case, and you will see the colors subtly change beyond the selection that you originally intended it for, which was the daisy in this case. The way you can fix that, there is a way. If you go ahead and click on that layer mask, and I'm going to click the Alt key again so that we can go back to our regular mode. I'm going to go ahead and click the Control or Command click on that mask. And if I invert that selection, and I'm going to go Select, Invert, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my paint bucket tool over here on the left-hand side. Make sure your selections are your default, which are black foreground, white foreground, white background. You're going to go ahead and click your paint tool and then just fill in that color. It actually filled in the mask with the black. And the way you can check that is by clicking on the mask again and then holding your Alt key down, and you'll see, now that's all gone, because basically you just filled in that area with black on your mask. And now in the future, if you went to make a change, we'll go ahead and click Alt, click again to return to our regular mode. And I'm going to click Control D or Command D to get rid of the marching ants. When you go to change your color in the future, you are only going to be affecting the selection that you have that you've indicated, which are the daisies in this case. You're not going to get any of the pixels back here because you've filled that in with black and told the layer. Let me go back here, look at blue again. You basically said to this layer that because it's black, I don't want any of the blue showing. Because it's white, I want the blue to show. So the black is hiding the blue and allowing whatever is beneath that layer to show. The white is saying, I just want to fill the white areas with blue because that was your selection. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps you with future editing, especially for replacing colors. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you the next time. Bye.